Hey Reddit, what's the worst present you've received, given, or have heard of being given? My brother gave me a used puzzle. It was missing pieces, had wads of hair, a screw and a penny. I put it together, mounted it, and regifted it to him the following year. I hope you included the screw and penny. So a few years ago, I'm making good money, and I buy my younger brother a brand new PS3 with a couple of games. He's going to love it. He, not knowing that I was getting him this gift, and also not having much money, decided to give me a prank gift. He got me a box of chocolates, but instead of chocolates, it was stuffed full of gravel and cat crap. What was his reaction? Go to keep this memory in your back pocket for blackmailing purposes, lol. Stepmom's mother gave me a mug that said "to a wonderful mother" and had a personalized note from one of her other daughters in the mug. I'm male and have no children. She regifted a Mother's Day present from one of her kids that she never even opened. You can regift it to her next year. D. Mwahahaha. I got a dead rat for Christmas when I was a kid. I wanted a pet rat. My parents got one, but on Christmas Eve they noticed it wasn't looking too good. The note I got on Christmas morning on the cage said I caught a cold on Santa's sleigh. Poor thing lasted about 10 minutes and died in my hands while I was opening other presents. A tough Christmas morning for an 8-year-old. Or, they are notoriously bad for sinus respiratory infections. My mom had a pretty bad childhood. One particular highlight is the time she was really, more than anything wanting this one specific pair of boots. Her mom got her a picture of the boots and promised the boots themselves would arrive soon. She never got those boots from her mom. She says that years later, when she got her first job and first paycheck, the first thing she bought was those boots. My husband's parents did this crap every year. They would gift an envelope with a picture of the present, promise it was on its way, and then it would never appear. We eventually stopped doing Christmas with them. My grandparents gave me a bottle of antifreeze for Christmas once. I mean, I knew I wasn't the favorite grandchild, but that's a bit on the nose. My grandma got my mom the greatest gift ever one year. Rubber gloves. That's it, just rubber gloves. Said she could use them to clean our house. They didn't speak for a few years, lol. My grandma got me a case of toilet paper. It lasted until the following Christmas. I really wasn't mad about it. I have a fun story from my dad's childhood. His dad, my grandpa, was not great at shopping for presents. One year, he was very proud of himself for finding the perfect gift for my grandma, a truly hideous gold-colored blazer and skirt set. She wasn't thrilled but thanked him and hung it in the closet, never to be worn. The next year, my grandpa went shopping on his own again and got her the same set, this time with pants instead of skirt. Grandma this time called him out on it. "Oh, for the love of God, Grandpa, this is exactly the same gift as last year." He had no memory of this. So of course, my dad and his siblings, being little shoots, waited until next year, grabbed the first outfit out of the closet, wrapped it, and put it under the tree from grandpa to grandma, and waited for their evil genius to bloom into fruition. There were some fireworks that Christmas, but not in the sky. Thank you for this. I laughed for quite a while. Haha, your grandpa must have really loved that style. I would have worn it at least once to go out with your grandpa if I were your grandma. My dad was once given a skateboard pencil sharpener by his sister-in-law. As kids, my brother and I thought it was cool as frick. Dad, a mid-30s corporate manager, didn't. A skateboard pencil sharpener sounds awesome. My aunt always gave me her son's demo discs from his subscription to the PlayStation magazine as a kid. They are millionaires and always acted like they were better than us. Glad my dad finally wised up and cut them out of the picture when I was a teen. He suffered way too much abuse from them. I played the crap out of the Tekken 2 demo when I was a kid. I got a bunch of art supplies and canvases, exactly what was asked for, by my sister. I just gave it all to her because it would not have been used by me. That was the majority of gifts that were for me. Very distressing as a child. Been there. Many of my gifts growing up were the exact same thing my older brother or younger sister got for Christmas because they had asked for it. I did not. My parents bought my brother a car for high school graduation. It was 10 years old, but he got a car. The next year for my HS graduation they got me a toolbox to fix his car. I worked with a kid who was being emotionally abused by their family. The older sibling got a new game station. The kid got the sibling's hand-me-down sweater. Child of an emotionally abusive parent checking in, I was clearly not the golden child. Both siblings got bikes for birthdays. I got a book. I was in an abusive relationship and just had a fight a couple of days before my 30th. Prior to my birthday, I had wanted to organize a day trip with friends to go dolphin watching. Invited my partner but he claimed he already had an amazing day planned and pouted that his plans would be ruined if I went out with my friends. I was actually bummed. Didn't go ahead with my plans but over time got a little excited wondering what my partner might surprise with me. 30 was a milestone after all. My birthday arrives and I wake up to my partner getting ready for work. I ask, where are you going? Work. See you after. Instead of being home at the usual time of 5 PM, he walks in at 9 PM. Ignores me for an hour or so while I'm sitting there confused. Did he forget? At 10 I say I'm going to bed. He leaves the house, goes to his car, returning to the house with a stern happy birthday and throws a Garmin GPS at my feet. It was used, no charger and even had a history of locations on it. He then became really pissed at me and called me ungrateful when I didn't show any appreciation. I didn't even cry, just felt numb and stupid. At this stage we were 7 years and 5 months into our relationship. It was over within another 4 months. My 30th was, in my opinion, a big deal. Something I wanted to celebrate with memories that I could cherish for years to come. I definitely got memories I won't forget. Scratch off lotto tickets when I was 9 from my step-uncle that were already scratched. There was also the year my grandma got me and my brother scratch off tickets when I was 12. Only they were actually worth something. Mine was worth $800 and my brother $200. Grandma then told us we had to split it with our golden child cousins because it was the right thing to do. So crappy. My mom used to buy us kids scratch off tickets and one year I won $1,000. I was under 18 so I couldn't cash it and so she did it. Anytime I asked about the money she'd always mention how she pays for all my food and lets me live in her house. My friend trying to go straight edge after an overdose was given weed and Percocet, the two drugs he missed the most. Luckily he had the strength to get rid of it. That's like gifting someone a lion to wrestle. My mom gave me a Nintendo Wii that I loved but then sold it 2 months later for bills but it was either drugs or alcohol. When someone is stealing from their kids to pay for vices that's how you know they've hit rock bottom and pulled out the jackhammer to go even deeper. In 2000 I wanted a Sega Dreamcast. My parents promised me they'd split the cost for one. When I saw my presents I found one that was the right size to be a Sega Dreamcast. Instead it was a $10 dollar store tabletop pinball machine. My mom made an excuse saying I had to be an adult to have a Dreamcast and the pinball machine would be just as fun. Sonic Adventure was rated E or KA, can't remember. The pinball machine broke within a week and melted the batteries in it. I learned later they blew the money on booze, cigarettes and scratch off tickets. Story of my life with my dad. Hangers. And not like a whole set which could be super useful. Two hangers that were padded and had ribbons so they looked like ballet slippers. This was for my 21st birthday. I never did ballet nor do I have any interest in ballet. I literally called my dad to ask if mom had a stroke. One year my step siblings got iPods and new laptops. I got 7 pairs of PJ pants. I had to choke down the tears with hot chocolate so I didn't seem ungrateful. I don't know how people justify this kind of cruelty to a child. I've posted about this before but my first boyfriend was such an awful gift giver that it bears repeating. Here are some examples. One year for Christmas we decided we'd buy each other 3 CDs. He liked black metal and I liked classic rock. We each wrote a list of about 20 CDs we wanted and agreed to buy each other 3 off the list. That way, we'd each get CDs that we wanted, but what we got would still be a surprise. So I bought him 3 black metal CDs off his list. He unwrapped them, was pleased and then handed me my present. I unwrapped it and was very confused because instead of the CDs I'd asked for, in the package were 3 black metal CDs off his list. I looked at him for an explanation and he said, "I've decided it's time to get you into black metal. But first I will borrow these." He took the CDs and just kept them. So he got 6 CDs for Christmas and I got nothing. The following year we tried the same again. We each wrote down a list of CDs we wanted and I got him things he'd asked for. Instead of the CDs I'd asked for, he got me a figurine. I don't collect figurines. Not have I ever shown any interest in them. What was worse was that the figurine was extremely vulgar. It was a female bear dressed in a nun's habit, lifting up her skirt to show red lingerie underneath. What was even worse was that he said the bear reminded him of me, pretending to be a good girl on the outside but a dirty S underneath. So my present that year was a hideous thing and an insult. Another time we were at a music festival and I was browsing the CDs. My ex said that he wanted to buy me a present. He told me to choose a few CDs and said he would pay for them. So I chose a few and we went to the register to pay. This is when he said, "Oh, I've forgotten my wallet. You'll have to pay for them. But they are from me. I'll pay you back later." I just said whatever and paid for them myself. On the way home we were walking along the road. I was about 30 yards ahead of him because he was lagging behind to smoke. I found £4.20 notes on the pavement. I picked them up and when I showed him what I'd found he said that since we were together when I found them they must be split equally between us. He said that he would generously allow me to keep his half though, to pay for the CDs I'd bought earlier. So now, according to him, he'd paid for the CDs and so they were a gift from him. That boyfriend sounds like the biggest douche ever. I think the worst I have heard of was the guy who bought his wife a $5 stainless steel spoon and spent like $3,500 on everyone else he knew. Worst I ever got was probably an ugly Builder's Square sweatshirt when I was a kid. I hate sweatshirts. When I was 10 my parents gave my brother and I coal for Christmas. No presents under the tree, just a Ziploc bag of coal in our stocking. They gave us actually presents later but boy were we shocked and pee. My mother did the same thing, along with a note that said I saw you last night because I cried from her yelling at me the night before. I'm really sorry that happened to you. It really hurts when parents pull that crap on what's supposed to be a nice holiday. A yo-yo. In first grade, Beyblades were the biggest thing in my school. People kept flexing their collection and how strong theirs were. So for my 7th birthday, I asked my dad for one. But instead, he got me a yo-yo and said they were basically the same thing. I hate it when parents pull the "it's the same thing" card. My sister Ray gifted me a dress that I would never wear and a pair of shoes the same. Both were obviously worn before. I spent 60 quid on her that year. I stopped buying her presents after that. When I was a kid I got socks and I wasn't upset, I didn't mind. It was when I seen my sister get an Apple computer I was like dang colon. Yo what the frick. My aunt got me a VHS of 1988 Winter Olympics highlights. That was actually a tape of all the unpopular winter sports. This was in the mid 2000s and I didn't have a VHS player. I had never expressed any interest in the Olympics, let alone Winter Olympics. That same year my grandparents got me a bag of shelled almonds, and I had no way to open them. I had the video and bag of nuts on my shelf for over 10 years. Sorry for not being clear. I opened the bag but the almonds all had the shell on, which for someone without a nutcracker or hammer were impervious to being eaten. One year, my grandmother gifted a bottle of her favorite perfume to my wife. Something like White Shoulders that my wife would never actually use. Good news, though, the bottle inside was empty. Memo had just gifted an old perfume bottle after she had been done with it for years, wrapped in the retail box and everything. So basically, my wife got a good story for Christmas. Not sure about your age, but my great grandmother kept her empty perfume bottles because it was like little pieces of art she would never purchase for herself otherwise. It always seemed like women born between 1900 and 1940 would feel similarly in my hometown, so there might be a missed cultural significance with this gift. Freshman year of college I received an XL women's t-shirt from my aunt and uncle. The shirt said paws off with a paw print on each nipple. I am a 160-pound guy. It wasn't a gag gift. They're just a little out of touch. My parents and brother still joke about it every Christmas. You should wear it every Christmas until you die. When I was young I got my mom some hand mirrors that I thought she'd like. I was maybe 9 I think, so they were as much as a 9YO could get from Walmart. I also had this idea that you shouldn't be able to guess what was in the gift, so I put it in a much bigger box to throw her off. It sat under the tree for a couple of weeks and I think she got pretty excited thinking about what it could be. I felt horrible when she opened it because she seemed to have such anticipation, and then I could see the "oh, that's nice" wash over her face when she finally opened it. I've been really self-conscious about giving gifts ever since, especially if I'm only giving someone 1 or 2 gifts. It was my 17th birthday and I had friends over. This was a big deal for me, since I had never had friends come to my birthday before. I was a lonely, awkward, chubby kid with undiagnosed ADHD. After blowing out my candles and serving the cake, I get to opening my gifts. They were mostly normal 17-year-old girl things until I hit Eat This, Not That, a diet book that swept the nation in the early aughts. My mom immediately swooped in and started singing the praises of the book, telling me how much it would help me get my weight under control and relearn how to eat, in front my new friends. Guess who still has food issues more than a decade later? ETA. I have to add this because it just happened today, Christmas. It's not a bad gift, it just put me in an unnecessarily awkward situation. My lovely mother-in-law, Mill, bought husband and I a grill. She gave us a picture of the grill to open and said it's being shipped to our house. That's amazing and such a thoughtful gift. Truly, we're excited to receive it. Today, we received another grill from my parents. It's fully assembled and in their living room. Okay, whatever. Clearly there was a lack of communication between our parents. When we called my darling Mill to report the silly mishap, she said, "Oh, I texted your mom weeks ago to ask if they were getting you a grill. She said no, so I told her I'll get you guys one. I bring this info to my parents and suggest we perhaps return their grill to the store. Then I'll learn that it was a clearance item and cannot be returned. Oh, and dad didn't want to transport it anymore, so my husband and I need to figure out how to get it to our house 90 miles away in our Honda Civic. We put it in their garage instead, for now." They bought themselves a grill. You should take it, just to deny them. Sell it on Craigslist or something. Please don't make me retell the story of being given a live turtle 1,500 miles from home. Short version. Impossible to get health records and all the accessories and documents to fly a turtle on 12/26. Return turtle to pet store and pee off lots of in-laws. Gonna go ahead and use this as an opportunity to give a SAR that will never not be important. Don't gift people pets unexpectedly, just don't. It's the reason why shelters always end up with a massive influx of puppies for several weeks after Christmas. If you wouldn't gift someone a toddler without warning, don't gift them an animal. Sorry you had to deal with all that OP. My mother had always been the one in charge of Christmas at our house. My parents fostered, so there were never less than 6 kids running around, often more, and some had special needs. Wheelchair, light sound sensitivities, nonverbal, etc. When I got older, I offered to help out as her elf. I had a great time picking out gifts for all the other kids, doing the wrapping, always the best part of the job, and putting up decorations. Well, Christmas rolled around, and everyone gathered around the tree to open presents. And I didn't have any. See, I had been managing all the other kids' gifts and mom was supposed to manage mine and she just forgot. I still remember looking over and seeing her face as she realized. I didn't say anything at the time so as not to ruin the mood, and mom apologized profusely and it was fine. But that was not the worst part of this story. The worst part was the next year, when it happened again. Mom and I had a blast making Christmas happen for the rest of the family, and on Christmas morning, as dad is passing out the presents, I cannot help but notice I'm not getting any. Again, I look over at mom and she is white as a ghost. She bolts from the room saying something about how she forgot some presents in the closet, and comes back a few minutes later with 2 obviously hastily wrapped flat objects, both for me. So I opened them up and what to my wondering eyes should appear? A package of graph paper and a package of various grades of sandpaper, which were probably the only things she could find unopened in the storage closet where we kept the wrapping supplies. So I'm holding these two things and one of the respite kids that year pipes up, "What are you going to do with that?" So I put on this big grin and say it's awesome, because I can use the graph paper for designing mazes and dungeons in my role playing games, and I can use the sandpaper for crafts, because I love crafts, and I get the kid really excited about helping me with crafts. We ended up building a bat house together, and it was a great Christmas, but afterwards, I took mom aside and gently told her that I would be recruiting another elf to handle my gifts from now on. I can laugh about it all now, and making Christmas with my mom remains some of my best memories of her. But I can't lie, that second year of being forgotten really stung. Graph paper and sandpaper, that's almost worse than nothing. Dude, that second year pee me off by just reading it. If you forget about the presents, don't come up with a 10-second gift. It's blatantly obvious and you end up looking more like a freak up than you did before. So admitting her errors was a better way to go. I considered this one guy and his wife my best friends for a period of time. One November day, the wife asked me if I'd like to go half on a big Lego Taj Mahal set, the one from 2008 or so, which I believe was $350 to $400. The guy and myself are huge Lego enthusiasts, so I knew he would love it, so I agreed. Come Christmas, I'm at their place and we're opening gifts. He's overjoyed with his gift and I go to open mine. A $20 Lego LED light. Years of working in retail have prepared me for this moment. Faking the biggest smile I've ever had to fake. Dang. Getting you to pitch in $200 on a gift for her husband and then only getting you a crappy because I had to tear gift in exchange is really doing you dirty. My great grandfather was an alcoholic dongbag. For Mother's Day, he went down to the local shops and found snow shovels on sale. Because, you know, it was May. Anyway, that's what he got her for Mother's Day. A snow shovel. And no, he wasn't one of those I get you practical things kinda guy. I know people like that. My best friend got me a can opener one time to replace my crap one and I love it to this day. No, my great grandfather did it out of spite. Also sucked her parakeet up into the vacuum one time. One of those old time floor unit with the long hose. On purpose. So yeah, he wasn't a nice guy. That's horrible. I hope she pee in his coffee or something. Poor little parakeet. My grandma got me an enormous bottle of unscented body wash and a half-used bottle of off-brand Tylenol for my birthday 2 days ago. I got a can of peanuts, hated nuts if all kinds, and a necklace from the dollar store from my dementia grandmother. Wish I still had that necklace. I was too young to understand. One Christmas when I was 15 or so, all I got was present from my aunt. It was a knockoff Hot Wheels sports car, a pen, and a fake check. She said it was a get rich starter set. At least she gave me something. No one else did. Christmas married to Mr. Wrong. From his mom a magnifying glass from her junk drawer. From his dad a shower cap from Red Lion. Used. From New Hubs a rifle he wanted. Registered in his name. I wasn't allowed to touch. God, why didn't I see it then? When me and my brother were little kids, he gave my grandpa a trumpet he found in the street that had been run over by cars several times, all gift wrapped and everything. My grandpa was a really stoic bastard, but I think he laughed till he cried that day. It was really sweet. My boyfriend at the time ordered a bunch of Christmas gifts from Amazon. He also ordered a rather dubious purge your body of toxins drink for himself because he had a drug test coming up for work. Guess which box he accidentally wrapped and gave to his sister instead of the thing he'd actually ordered for her? This is hilarious and cringeworthy. D. A surprise broken window for my birthday. That's how it was presented and there were no presents that year. Surprise. Happy birthday, your brother broke your window like they were saying we got you an awesome present. Bonus. My birthday is in spring, and the window wasn't fixed until the following January. Parents had to wait till after Christmas. One Christmas my dad got me a chocolate bar with nuts. I'm deathly allergic to nuts. He felt horrible that he had forgotten, but I laughed it off. I do secretly think he gave it to me knowing I'd give it back, because he devoured it 10 minutes later. For my 6th grade white elephant, we were all supposed to bring something from home. Some of the stuff was really good, like guide dogs and Harry Potter books, but one girl got a diaper with a face drawn on it and a piece of paper that said it's a diaper, it's a pet, it's a diaper pet. In hindsight, I feel terribly for the person who had nothing else at home to bring except that, because they must have been so embarrassed when the girl opened it up and burst into tears. Missed opportunity to not call it a diaper. Mill gave me a set of vintage stoneware mixing bowls one year for Christmas, then told me that she had gotten them from her neighbor's house, which had been foreclosed upon. She and her boyfriend at the time just broke in, stole what they thought looked good, and gave it as gifts. She figured it wasn't wrong because the bank owned the house and so it didn't count as stealing. I was too horrified to say anything. I ended up donating the stuff to a thrift store that benefited a women's shelter. Mill has always had a full-time job, and as far as I know, all other gifts have been legitimately acquired. It wasn't wrong because the bank owned the house and so it didn't count as stealing. That is one way to look at it. My mom and my aunt, dad's sister mom Sil, never got along. My aunt is not a nice person and has always caused drama. My mom hosted a Christmas party one year and my aunt was invited. She gave my mom some anti-wrinkle cream as a hostess gift and told my mom, "I think it's time you start using this," in attempts to embarrass my mom. My mom perked right up and started showing off the gift to everyone at the party like, "Look everyone, look what aunt got me. Isn't that just lovely?" Shut my aunt up for the night at least, but didn't help in the long run. Gifts like that are definitely double-edged swords. I get my mom stuff like that all the time because she asks for it, and I love her so I always say she doesn't need it and I just got it cause she wanted it. Yet people like your aunt just give it to say mean things. My aunt sold Avon full-time most of my life. When I was 13 we did a family secret Santa and were supposed to spend $30 on a gift. Said aunt drew my name and gave me a pair football nail clippers from Avon. They were listed in the catalog for like $6, but she likely got them even cheaper free. Was so pee. Thought it was the worst present ever. Turned out pretty awesome in the long run though. Used those same clippers for my finger and toenails for over 20 years, well into my 30s. Doubt anyone got nearly that much use out of their $30 gifts that year. Hindsight baby. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.